dance can do many things for us, but it could not save a small furniture company in Miami from the economic tsunami of a global pandemic. So like many 40-year-old millennial white males, Mike Lane found himself alone and adrift in an ocean of failed relationships and unrealized dreams. Mike is currently working as a bartender for a private event. A woman named Maxandra approaches him to order a drink. Mike asks her if everything is going well with the fundraiser. Maxandra Ratigan says that nobody there knows what the Big Blue Rescue Project is, and yet they give her their money every year. Then a woman named Kim says to Mike that they have met before, but Mike doesn't remember until she says that it was when he was a cop. Kim's husband is a bit confused, but doesn't say anything. Kim is now a part of Maxandra's legal team. When the fundraiser is over, Mike gets a call from Tito, but he can't answer it because he's told that Mrs. Ratigan would like a word with him. Maxandra says that Kim told her about his past and now she wants to know how much he charges for a dance. Mike says that he doesn't do that anymore, and Maxandra apologizes, but asks how much would it be hypothetically speaking. Mike replies that it'd be $60,000. Maxandra was not expecting that because according to Kim it was just a silly dance, but she's willing to pay $6,000. Suddenly this offer makes Mike reconsider and give her the dance she wants. The dance is slow and very sensual, which leaves Maxandra feeling very pleased. When the dance is over, Maxandra tells Mike that if she had known how this night was going to be, she would have gladly paid the $60,000. Mike says that it doesn't matter because he's not taking any of her money. Maxandra asks Mike to come with her to London. Mike says that he can't leave just like that because he needs to work, but Maxandra tells him that she's going to get him a much better job in London. And all he has to do is to come with her for a month and she'll give him the $60,000. Mike is now flying with Maxandra. He uses the opportunity to ask how she got so rich. Maxandra says that Roger's family is in media. But her marriage with Roger is not going so well. Mike says that he's not in a relationship because those don't tend to work out for him. When they arrive in London, Maxandra takes Mike out shopping for some clothes. Maxandra then takes Mike to her theater. She says this is where her love for Roger began and it's also where it's going to end. Maxandra introduces Woody as the best stage manager in all of London and he's to serve Mike's vision. Maxandra tells the actors that they must stop the current play for 4 weeks and nobody will be fired except for the director, who is getting replaced by Mike. In exactly 1 month, Maxandra wants every woman who walks into that theater to feel the same kind of ecstasy that she did. After hearing this announcement, every single actor quit, but Maxandra thinks it's fantastic because what they actually need are dancers. Later Mike gets to meet Maxandra's daughter, Zadie, who's upset because her mom forgot their meeting. Zadie asks them many questions and comes to the conclusion that Maxandra is going through another of her phases. Every few years she starts a big new project and each time she becomes a new person. However, there's always some obstacle that prevents her project from seeing the light of day. The next day, the casting to find the dancers begins. And after a while they have managed to gather an amazing group of dancers. Mike tells them that they have only a month to turn them into the greatest strippers planet Earth has seen. Suddenly an actress from the play appears saying that she wants to take part in the project. Maxandra says that she's still going to get paid, but they don't need her services. Mike believes that they also need a female dancer, so he convinces Maxandra to include this woman named Hannah. Mike begins to explain his idea for the first act. Enter Jackson, the low-class but sexy friend of the husband. He says to Hannah, who now plays as a rich woman, that Harold said she didn't want to go to Calais this year. Hannah says that she's sick to death of Calais. Theo says that he won't hear of it and that she's going. Then Mike gives a signal and the music can be heard. All the dancers get in place to surround Hannah. However, Maxandra orders the music to be stopped because she believes that the dancers can't just start dancing out of nowhere. So Mike still has to figure out how he's going to wrap everything up. In the meantime, Mike goes with Maxandra to have dinner with her friends. When Maxandra leaves the table, they make it clear that they know Maxandra won't be divorcing Roger because at the end of it, she'll get absolutely nothing due to the prenup she signed. Mike later tells this to Maxandra, who now believes her friends are so fake. The next day, Mike meets Roger for the first time and all he can say is that he hopes he enjoys the new play. But while Mike is doing some directing, Maxandra gets handed a folder with some papers that state the owner must obtain written approval to make material changes to property. Maxandra instantly knows that this is Roger trying to control her, even though they're separated and in the middle of a divorce because he had too much fun with his assistant. Mike asks what if they do it anyway. Zadie reads that failure to comply comes with a £10,000 fine per day and/or seizure of the property by the city. Zadie tells them that there's a woman named Edna who would be able to grant them an exemption. Maxandra hires a group of people to follow Edna around and find out what she's into. They can find much, other than she must be heartless to shut down Swan Lake. Mike thinks that perhaps Edna doesn't even know what she wants. Maxandra says that when Mike came to her life, he gave her this magical moment that made her remember who she was. So now they have to figure out who Edna was before. Now at home, Maxandra thinks they need a grand finale, something climatic, different and personal, and that could be Mike. However, he disagrees. The next day, Edna interrupts them during one of their rehearsals saying that there's some height restrictions for stage risers and their new stage is 3/4 of an inch too high. So Edna tells them that they're to shut down immediately. Maxandra says that she'll take care of that. However, after talking to Roger, she's unable to fix things. All she's got left is to figure out if that dance meant as much to Mike as it did to her. Maxandra tells Mike that everything is over now and she'll arrange a flight to take him back to Miami. Mike is taken aback and asks what really happened because this isn't her, but Maxandra walks away. So Mike decides to send Zadie a message where he says that the ending is not ending and the grand finale will be happening on Sunday. Zadie makes sure to send invitations for the show. The big day has arrived. Zadie tells the news to Maxandra, making her get out of bed. Woody coordinates everything so that the show can begin. Everyone knew only the people who were there would ever experience the story of Max and Mike as told through dance. The story opens up with Harold saying that he won't be going to Calais. Instead, he will be spending the summer there because Isabel is pregnant. Suddenly, Isabel shouts the word unicorn multiple times. The lights on the stage change and Mike takes the microphone to present himself as the unicorn. Isabel didn't expect that her imaginary friend from childhood would actually show up. The unicorn asks Isabel to say how she really feels. Isabel says that the two men she's got in front shouldn't be her only two options in the world. Isabel feels like she doesn't even need to choose because it's unfair for her to choose between the idiot rich guy or the poor guy with a heart of gold. What Isabel truly wants is for them to leave her alone. The unicorn tells Isabel that she can have anything she wants, all she has to do is ask. Isabel says that all she wants is a guy in a tank top and some jeans. The men immediately take their suits off, revealing their new clothes. Isabel keeps asking for more until she says to the audience that now it's their turn, and by the power vested in her through this magic mic, she commands the unicorn to send everything to them all. The dancers take over the stage doing the choreography they practiced. At some point the dancers group together, and when they break apart they reveal Hannah wearing a different outfit and taking a more active role in the show. For the following dance, things get more steamy and intimate. The dancers perform lap dances to some of the women from the public. Hannah presents the grand finale by saying that sometimes the greatest fantasy of them all is knowing that you're the only one. Mike performs an emotive dance with a ballerina trying to express how he feels towards Max. Once the show is over, Maxandra congratulates Mike and he tells her that he loves her. They share a kiss and Maxandra tells Mike that she won't ever go back to Roger. She's now free and broke, but Mike only cares that they're going to be together.